Boys and girls, since we're talking about W, we're going to talk about Superworm. There's a W, and you know what? Since Earth Day was last week, we're going to be doing a lot of things with seeds because this time of year we do our seeds, and you're going to see worms in the ground. So I'm going to read you about Superworm. But before I do, remember last week I talked about the caterpillar, and Mrs. Rowe took a pantyhose and I put dirt in it, and I twisted around, made different sections, and I poked holes, and I poured grass seed, and look, it's going to turn into the very hairy caterpillar. I'll show you again next week, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll bring it to school for the next packet. It should be very hairy then, okay? All right, but a worm's not as big as this big fat caterpillar. So look, you can make a little worm out of just a little pantyhose. I'll show you this before I read. You just take one of these and you just go to one end, you tie a knot, then you go another section, go like this, tie a knot, go down a little bit more, go like this, tie a knot, one more time. Now you've got your own Superworm. Let's see what Superworm does. Okay, Superworm by Julia Donaldson. Superworm is super long. Superworm is super strong. Watch him wiggle, see him squirm. Hip, hip, hooray for Superworm. Help, disaster, baby toad has hopped into a major road. Toad, road, rhyme. Sometimes help, help, quick, oh no. What's gonna happen? Oh, look what he did. Look, Superworm, lasso. See what he can do? He could lasso the toad. The bees are feeling bored today. They need a nice game to play. Cheer up, bees. Oh, look, they found the word no. No need to mope. So what's going to happen to these bees? Aw, look what Superworm did. It's Superworm, the skipping jump rope. Beetles fall in the well. Is she drowning? Who can tell? Not to panic, it's all fine. What could Superworm do to help that beetle, guys? Yep, let's see what he does. He's to the rescue again. It's Superworm, the fishing line. The toads are beetles, bees, and bugs. Bother snails and sister slugs. Uncle Irwing's Auntie Ant. Clap and cheer and chant this chant. Superworm is super long. Superworm is super strong. Watch him wiggle, see him squirm. Hip, hip, hooray for Superworm. Superworm, there's big Superworm. All right. The chant is carried on in the air to the wizard lizard in his hair. His matters is serving his ear. What matters is his servant's ear. Find out what worm can bring him here. The servant crow is black and grim. Everyone is scared of him. They all let out a fearful shriek to see their hero in his beak. What happened to Superworm? The crow got him. Uh-oh. The wizard waves his magic flower. Now, Superworm, you're in my power, and you must tunnel, wither, and coil to find me the treasure in the soil. Superworm is very cross to have a lizard in his boss, but when he tries to slink away, the wizard's magic makes him stay. For days he tunnels, twist and wind, but all the treasure that he finds is 2 small buttons, half a cork, a toffee, and a plastic fork. The lizard flicks an angry tail. Have one last try, and if you fail to find the treasure down below, I'll feed you my hungry crow. See, this is where worms live. They go under the ground, but they help our earth. The crow is flapping through the night. Everyone looks up in fright to see him perched upon an oak and listen to his dreadful croak. Superworm is good to eat. Superworm's a special treat. He'll be juicy, fat, and firm. Hip, hip, hooray for Superworm. Action quickly at the double. Superworm is frightened and troubled. We must help him if we can. We must hatch a cunning plan. How are they going to help Superworm? He helped all of them. The garden's creatures leave their home, carrying honeycomb. They jump and fly and crawl and creep. and find the lizard fast asleep. The caterpillars fetch some leaves. They chew the petals off the flower to rob him of his magic power. While busily the spider weaves. The web is strong, the web is tough, the web is plenty big enough. The wizard wakes. This isn't funny. I'm wrapped in leaves and stuck with honey. Then up the bees and the beetles fly and lift the web into the sky. Ooh, they trapped the lizard. This is the place, and bang, crash, thump, the wizard's in the garbage dump. And now, from somewhere underground, there comes a distant rumbling sound. The earth begins to heave, and then, what's it gonna be? Uh-oh. Superworm, the swing, the hero, the slide, the hula hoop, the fairground ride. Superworm, the belt, the hat, the crane, the train, and the acrobat. Then toads and beetles, bugs and brother snails and sister slugs, Uncle Earwing, Auntie Ant, clap and cheer to chant this chant. Superworm is super long, Superworm it will squirm. Hip hip hooray for Superworm. Okay, so you can make your own superworm, or you can go out in the garden this week and you can see if you can find a worm if your parents say it's okay. Bye.